True or false? You can talk effectively. You can listen effectively. You know what really gets communicated when you speak. You know how to engage someone in conversation using body language. If you answered false to any of those prompts, the only message you're sending is that you're not an effective communicator. Effective communication involves the accurate formation of a message, whether verbal or nonverbal, sending it, and having it fully understood and received by the recipients. As college students, it is important for us to understand how our responses and reactions to everyday interactions can affect us later on in the workplace. As an employee of Wayne State, I am often required to draft correspondence, deliver presentations, and also simply making sure I communicate effectively with my peers, my higher-ups, and our students so that I can make sure we're maintaining a healthy and successful program. In doing this, I'm developing great communicative skill and aiding in the improvement and growth of our overall group communication. The purpose of this information is to make you aware of how your communication can positively impact the workplace and business interactions. As we continue to explore this topic, we will discuss the two forms of communication generally demonstrated in the workplace and why they're each important, the positive effect that good communication has on workplace and business encounters, as well as where and in what ways individuals can develop good communication skills. Being well-spoken isn't enough to qualify someone as an effective communicator. That's number one. There are many components to communication, and each one plays an important part. Most forms of communication are generally verbal or nonverbal. Forms of verbal communication are oral and written. That would be your emails, phone calls, letters, speeches. Nonverbal communication focuses on tone of voice and body language, so that's your postures, gestures, and facial expressions. Although it is important to choose your words wisely, most individuals actually struggle with their nonverbal communication. According to research done by Albert Morabian, the words we say contribute 7% of our communication, that's in the red, whereas 38% makes up how we say things, that's going to be our green here, and 55% makes up our nonverbal communicative expressions. That's the blue. That is, as you can see, more than half of the pie. So that goes to show that we're struggling more and using more our nonverbal communication skills. Some may argue that it's impossible to effectively communicate a message without the use of appropriate nonverbal cues. In an excerpt of the Journal of Soft Skills, Deepika Futela, an assistant professor at Tansha University in India, argues for this, stating nonverbal cues help others determine the attitudes and attributes that may not be expressed by words spoken. Nonverbal communication, especially body language, can send a strong message in spite of what your words say. Your body language will usually either contradict what your words are saying or add to the message your words send. Since some factors can change the meanings of our nonverbal cues, such as culture, age, and sometimes gender and religion, we can deduce that neither verbal nor nonverbal communication were meant to stand alone. Now that we've addressed the forms of communication we're dealing with typically in the workplace and why both forms are important, we should better understand why effective communication is so crucial for a business setting. We must focus on speaking effectively and clearly, listening well, and delivering appropriate nonverbal feedback in order to properly convey our messages. This helps develop an employee-to-employee relationship as well as employee-to-customer relationships. Effective communication in the workplace helps provide clear objectives, tools to accomplish those objectives, as well as action plans to follow. If carried out properly, that effective communication can result in positives such as driving sales, customer retention, and drawing in new clients and customers. Effective communication also aids in building a strong team. Fraser Sherman of the Small Business article says, employees who look forward to talking with their colleagues are more enthused about coming to work. If they know they can talk to the boss about problems and that the boss will listen, that binds them to the company. When communicating in the workplace, it is essential that expectations be made clear. Otherwise, your productivity, team collaboration, and overall performance will suffer. Speaking of teams, another positive effect of good communication in the workplace is that diversity can be better managed. Sherman says, with a mix of races, nationalities, genders, or faiths on the job, it's easy for people to accidentally offend each other. Effective communication ensures that business policies and guidelines make expectations and processes clear to everyone, which helps avoid unwanted conflicts down the line. As a result of these more reactive measures, employees build stronger communication skills, which positively affects the flow of business, thusly resulting in the aforementioned benefits. We don't just stumble upon good communication skills overnight, though. So in order for us to reap the benefits of a workplace that exudes good communication, we must make sure we are developing the required skill. Building good communication requires the help of various trainings, lessons, information, and practice. As college students, we need to be taking full advantage of the classes, internships, projects, social events, and other extracurriculars that have us building and exercising our communication savvy. One of the best ways to work on crafting good communication skills is working on analyzing the situation better. Who are you communicating with? Why are you communicating with that person? And what are you hoping will be the end result of the communication? This is a critical thinking effort that most individuals are not willing to practice, which is why our messages often do not get through or get misconstrued, which results in no one being on the same page. Lisa Snyder states in an article from the Encyclopedia of Business and Finance that this lack of effort ends with businesses losing billions of dollars each year because of the cost of poor communication skills. Orders are processed incorrectly due to missing information, and projects are not completed on time due to confusion with deadlines. Another great skill that aids in the development of good communication is clarification. In a scholarly book concerning communication skills, Dr. Matthew McKay states that clarifying helps you sharpen your listening focus so that you hear more than just vague generalities when people speak. Clarifying also lets the other person know that you're interested. It gives the message, I'm willing to work at knowing and understanding you. These processes show those you are working with that you are attentive to the subject matter and have a willingness to participate. And the best place to get these skills? Everywhere. Start focusing in more on your everyday interactions. I think you'd be surprised by how much better you could be communicating within them and using them as practice. The best way to sharpen communication skills is practice. And as the saying goes, we all get better with practice. Communication is key in maintaining smooth, effective workplace interactions and operations. There is no shortage of opportunity to grow in this capacity. Viewing every social encounter as a chance to sharpen our communication skills could benefit not just our future employers, but many others around us. Let's all work on becoming effective communicators first for ourselves. This way we can confidently enter the workforce and watch as our seemingly meager efforts spread to invoke effective communication throughout the entire workplace.